Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of the Buckle This podcast, the podcast that is just abnormal enough to survive. As always, my name is Drew. Joining me is Josh.
Hey, everybody.
And Cole.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Alright, so this week the topic is going to be Battlefield. I believe talking about probably Battlefield, any Battlefield. Mostly probably 5, this is coming up, and, lots to talk about there with the beta, but I think any Battlefield's fair game to talk about this week.
I'm sure they will all be brought up. Battlefield 5 beta or V, we don't know which, but I assume it's 5.
BFV.
Yeah, that dropped last week and it just ended on Tuesday, I do believe.
Right.
And there's some pros, quite a few cons, but I understand it is a beta. So hopefully those issues get worked through. Overall, I enjoyed the gaming experience, but I definitely had a couple nights where things went sour and they never got on track. But I'll get into specifics here shortly. I just giving you a quick rundown of what I thought.
What do you think, Cole? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You get you off.
You're fine.
Similar situation. The first night I tried it, I was very, very frustrating. Just seeing the user interface was a little off for me. Just little things like that. But then the other times I played it, much, much more positive experience as opposed to the first time I tried it. And like Josh said, it is a beta. Obviously they're working through some kinks. Hopefully those will be addressed. And overall, though, I thought it was a pretty good experience.
Yeah, I think the game was mechanically very sound. They introduced a lot of new systems, and they sort of changed others, like ammo distribution and health distribution and stuff. And I like the new systems, but I'm happy it got delayed because it was kind of a rough beta. It worked really well, I thought, when it was early access for only people who pre-ordered. But when the server started to get flooded with people, it started to get a little broken. I think it's a good thing it got delayed, I think, just to fix that stuff up.
I would agree with that assessment as well.
It definitely showed showed some cracks in the armor when more people got on the servers.
Yeah. There
was some issues that I hope they identify and fix right away. Specifically, when you die and then you're critically injured or whatever, but somebody starts the revive process, then you're locked out of the game.
That was rough.
That happened to me, twice that first time we played?
Yeah, it happened to you at least 2 or 3 times in one match at one point.
And then I had to close the application and start it back up, and it became too much of a hassle, but mechanic-wise, I liked the way the guns felt. There was a lot of recoil, which is understandable, but once you unlock that trees and stuff, that was mitigated some. I like that they're pushing squad play.
Mm-hmm.
However, my biggest gripe, and I let them know too, which I know you've heard it from me before, but is the squad. In every other game, I'm pretty sure the squad was 5, and now they've dropped it down to 4.
Yeah, that was rough.
And that's left some of us not being able to play together.
Yeah.
And it didn't ruin the experience, but it definitely soured it that night.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had, I think, 6 of us on that night. We had to split into squads of 3. Or no, did we have... No,
we had 5.
5.
So
right.
3 and 2.
Yeah.
That
was definitely unfortunate.
Yeah, the only way I could get in the game was because you had to start a new squad, then I was able to join on you.
Mm-hmm. It is nice, a game like Battlefield has a server system, so we can all at least be in the same game, but not being in the same squad, it's definitely still not the same.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially if you're communicating back and forth with one another on a party chat. And, to have yourself attached to another group of guys that aren't talking with you, I mean, that obviously makes things really difficult.
Yeah,
Especially if you're trying to go for 2 different objectives or something. Obviously you're gonna upset your other squad mates that don't necessarily know what you're doing. And it just seems so weird that they would do that. I mean, I guess I get it, but this is how many games have we had where it's been this?
Yeah.
I understand they try to change things, but that That seemed that was a fundamental change.
Yeah, it seems like one of those weird arbitrary changes. They just change just to change things up and spice it up, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Some things don't need spiced up.
Yep.
What bothered me the most about it is because leading up to beta, even leading up to alpha, which I didn't get invited to or whatever, but every article you read was how important squad play is. We're emphasizing playing. They specifically said we're not doing premiums because we want people to be able to continue to play together, and squad emphasis is so important that that's a big part of this game. But then when it came to it, you're getting rid of 1/5 of the squad,
Right.
and that made no sense to me. I don't understand if it's such an important thing. Why are you reducing the size of the squads? I'm sure we'll learn to deal with that, but if you have an odd number, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Because in our case, it was 3 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
In our 2-man squad, you and I,
It's always hard with
we were
two.
we were at a disadvantage. Even though you and I play together all the time, we know how we play.
Mm-hmm.
We were definitely at a disadvantage because there's just communication broke down.
Yeah. Well, you sort of get when you have two squads in the same party, it requires like an extra almost level of coordination. But then sometimes you're talking over each other because one squad has information that's pertinent to them, while the other squad needs information, and it sort of becomes this weird cacophony of it just becomes sort of chaos, and you can't really coordinate when there's so many people needing to give information out.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of squads playing together because I don't like lone wolfing games.
Right. Oh yeah.
When I'm trolling, especially, I like to have somebody there with me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just an aspect I'm going to have to change my play style a little bit if we have a bigger group of people playing. For these bigger clans, or I don't know what they call them, this platoons or whatever. I don't know how those people are going to adapt to that, which maybe in the short term is our advantage, but in the long term they're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Another thing about the squads, I was never squad leader because, quite frankly, I hate being the squad leader. For those that have ever watched one of your Twitch streams or whatever, I didn't see the new mechanic or the new game feature where the squad leader could drop a supply point or drop the V-bomb or whatever they called it, the V-rocket, I don't know what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
But
the V1.
The V1. I didn't get to see that, and I've definitely felt it because
I saw it come down when we were playing the one day. It came down a couple times on us, and
but we had
I thought it was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It was sweet, but Drew a couple times tried calling one out, and it wouldn't. He didn't know how to do it.
That was bugged too. Like one time we called on the tank, and I don't know if I just don't if I'm an idiot and I couldn't figure out how to use the tank, but I called on the tank, and then when I said I could use it when I respawned, so I died, and then I couldn't find any place to use it when I respawned. But then one time we had the bomb, and it was just blacked out. Like the only thing I could use was the supply drop. I couldn't call on the tank or the bomb, even though we had enough for the bomb. But I think that was just a weird beta bug.
Just a bug, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was some kind of special step we were missing, or if...
No. It was just blacked out, like we didn't have enough points.
Yeah, I wondered about that, but
yeah.
The way it sounds is I'm being very negative on the game, and that's not the case. I'm just getting rid of the cons for me first, and then I was going to talk about the positives. But squad play was one of the cons. Second one was I felt the UI tough to get the hang of. You've had it in all these other battlefields almost a certain way for so long that when they switch this off to the new healing stuff, how you can heal yourself or how you can give yourself ammo, or just finding this gun tree. Finding the gun tree was a pain in the butt. I don't know why. I don't know if I just didn't know how, but the only time I could ever do it was when we were out of a game.
You can't actually access the upgrades for a gun in a match. You have to do it outside.
I just find that
seems silly.
It seems
to
me it seems stupid. Like in Battlefield 4 or whatever, when you got something unlocked, you just put it on.
I think it's
I
because that's all those upgrades are tied to a currency system in the game. And at least as far as I know, there's no way to spend that currency in a match. They want you spending it outside of the match. I'm not sure why they made that decision, or if there's just like if there's an engine, limitation there. But I think that's why it's like that.
Very well could be. I just found it frustrating.
Yeah, I would agree.
Um, another another thing dealing with that was just the healing yourself. Till I finally caught on to what I was supposed to be doing to heal myself, or the directional pad stuff. Once I finally caught on to the directional pad, the game went a lot smoother. That last night when we got to play together, all three of us here, it was so much better, I thought, when I figured out how to heal myself when I got away from you guys.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of new mechanics in there, but yeah, I agree. Once you get those mechanics down, it's just I don't know. It seems like a more like creative game than it has been previously. Like just a little bit with stuff like that, and the way like ammo and health comes out now.
Yeah, I only got to play the one mode, so I don't know what the other modes were like. If there was big changes in dynamics there, or if it's similar, but
Operations still chaos.
was it still?
Yeah, still chaos. Throwing that out there.
Yeah. I didn't care for operations in Battlefield 1.
It didn't get any better. I'll tell you.
I was reading some people thought they really liked it, but I guess it just doesn't go to my play style.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that was my problem. Is just we're all used to conquest, and obviously things are a little different. But
Yeah.
I'm interested in that battle royale mode.
Yes.
I hope it's faster paced than what it's been for when I got the few times I got to play PUBG or whatever they call it. I tried Fortnite a couple times too, and that game's garbage. But I'll get a lot of flack for that.
you lack the age to play that one, Jeff.
You've got crosshairs on you right now. I can feel them.
Yeah.
He's an old man, everybody. It's okay.
Based on what I've seen, they won't be able to shoot me though, but they can outbuild me. So no, but I want to see how that plays. I hope it's faster paced because when we played PUBG, the sitting and waiting just wasn't my style. I want it to be bumping into people more often than what you do.
I think that'll depend on the map size.
Yeah.
I don't know that they've really said much about the battle royale in Battlefield. I know it's only squads, at least from what they've said so far. It's only squads, so there'll be less like sort of random people running around. But when you get into a fight, it should be a long, substantial fight, I would assume.
Good.
And there's vehicles for sure.
Good. That makes it.
And I, to be honest, I would hope it's not. I hope it's a constant downsizing of the level, not just time based, but it's just constantly getting smaller. Like based on the previews, it appears to be a fire that's coming in, and I hope it's methodical like a fire, where it just slowly keeps coming in and in and in, and not like, oh god, you got to go right now. Like, oh, the timer's going down, and I got to keep moving or whatever.
Yeah.
I hope it's just a constant, you don't have to have a timer to tell you, oh crap, I need to move.
Yeah, I feel like that will be the case since it is a fire like that. It seems sort of that would follow.
It's gonna be interesting to see how they pull it off. Seems like everybody's adding their game modes in like that. Or every game is adding that mode in, I should say. So it'll be cool to try. I know Conquest is still gonna be my go-to.
Right. That's the classic Battlefield mode, in my opinion at least. That's quintessential Battlefield.
Classic trolling stuff too.
Yeah, that's what we enjoy. Now for positives on the game, obviously you can't say anything bad about the graphics.
Graphics are fantastic.
Graphics are out there. The sound was amazing.
Even the blowback, like when an explosion happened, just the animation where you were blown back.
That was fantastic.
I thought that was awesome.
When you revive or you get revived, or you revive somebody, positive is when you revive somebody, the blood all over their gun or all over your gun.
Even when you stab somebody. Too.
Yeah. The negative is that they need to fix pronto is the fact that when you do revive somebody, you're very likely to pick up their gun. you're not
Yeah.
doing it on purpose, but you might be looking at the same thing, looking at that area. They need to distinguish between picking up the gun and reviving somebody.
I think they just need to change what button that is. Like, make picking up the gun like
Make-
hold triangle or something, because that would
Yeah.
sort of follow.
Yeah.
You're switching weapons anyways. That would, and then you
Yeah.
wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, because something that mechanic was different.
There's nothing worse than when you're worst in my case. I suck at recon. Absolutely suck at recon.
So do I. But
And when I revive somebody, next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I'm done. I'm done. Like, it's like, just somebody kill me now, or I need to steal somebody else's
I
weapon.
think I tried recon. I think I tried recon maybe 5 minutes in that beta, and I didn't care for it. But
I suck at it, so I
yeah.
can't give a positive. I'm not even going to try to go into pros and cons in each class, because
Yeah.
recon, I just suck.
To me, the recon hasn't been the same since Battlefield 3. Maybe I could say the same thing about 4. Battlefield 3, I felt was the best recon.
You love Bad Company too, though. Also.
I did. I was good at Bad Company 2 recon, but this one just, I don't know. Maybe as they get more and more modern again, maybe that'll change.
Mm.
But this one, I didn't really get to try it out. Same with Assault. I tried it that one night that I was having a bad night. I tried it. I liked the gun handle, how the way it handled, but I didn't get into it enough.
Right.
So I stuck with either healing people or support.
I love support. I like doing support. Support was nice. Assault is the other one I use quite often.
Support was fun. Medic was, once I got the hang of Medic, towards the end, the last day, when it was just us three, I was reviving everybody without stealing their gun.
Yeah.
So I got better at that. I have to get used to not throwing my med packs to people that don't necessarily need it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little sign that comes up that says throw med pack, but that person probably didn't need it as opposed to me wasting it.
Right.
It was wasted on him as I could have wasted on somebody else that I could have got more points out
Yeah.
of.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no way to check their health. Usually, you can see a bar or something. You can just tell.
Oh, there's a bar. I'm pretty sure over
Is there?
Even Blues. Yeah, it might have been
Yeah,
a different spot though. I can't place where it was, but it definitely
Squad
shows
ma-
your health.
Yeah, squad mates is a lot easier or distinguishable
Right.
health wise and whatnot. It was a little harder for the probably just the difference of color, I guess maybe.
Yeah. The blue definitely blends in with the
Yeah.
background, especially if it's a sky. It's just impossible to see.
I like the maps.
Oh yeah.
At first, I thought, much like my brother Colt said earlier, that not actually, I think he said it in this podcast.
I didn't say
but-
in the podcast.
Yeah, but
no.
said it earlier to me privately that they were very Battlefield 1-ish, and at first I agreed, but as we began playing them, I thought they flowed a little better than Battlefield 1.
Correct.
Definitely. Battlefield 1 feels like a MOBA almost, where it's like just a bunch of lanes and you just run at each other. But
Yeah.
this felt more like along the lines of 4. I never played any other ones. A little bit of 3, I guess, but it felt more like 4, where there's a lot of options and you can be sort of creative in the way you attack people.
Yeah, I would agree. I loved the fortification thing. That was
Oh yes.
that was a big plus for me. A lot of times I died because I can run over there and build something. Build sandbags here will protect us. But then I die while I'm building the sandbag.
It's just so satisfying. I don't know what it is, but it's just so satisfying to sit there and throw sandbags
Like
in a
it's
white
like
bar.
You've done a hard day's work.
I guess.
Like, yeah.
But
Go
I
home
think
and
part
drink
of
some
that
coffee.
was
If only when I was in the service, if I could fill sandbags that quick.
I thought part of it maybe is the dying was because most of it happened when I switched to medic because it was slower than what that is building than support.
Yeah.
And I thought part of it was probably a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
But some other positives, like I said, the graphics, the sound. Once I got the hang of the gunplay, it was great. I can't wait to see other maps.
Mm-hmm.
But like you mentioned earlier, I'm glad that they postponed the launch of this game. 'Cause
Right.
those bugs we did mention definitely need to be at least looked at.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as far as vehicles and stuff, I didn't personally get to do any of the vehicle stuff. Got to blow a couple of them up, but
That's all that's important.
thank God I don't have to deal with the invincible horse anymore. Oh my God.
That almost cost me a controller every time I ran into one of those things.
Yeah, they were a pain in the butt. I didn't get to try any vehicle in this one.
In my experience, having used the tank a little bit, now I'm never good in a tank, but I was especially bad in a tank in here. Having just run circles around other like enemy tanks, I feel like they're harder to use, which I think is good because in the past they've always been, especially there's just almost no way to attack a tank if you're like just one squad. Like it can be very difficult if you're fighting a good tank guy. So in this, I think it's a little better.
Yeah, especially with 4 you had thermal optics.
Right.
You had
Oh,
this,
it's a
you had
nightmare.
that. It's just like you could never sneak up on one.
Right, and it seems like they have like the same amount of health in this one, but they're harder. You can't kill people with them as often.
Yeah.
So they're a little less lethal.
The one thing I did not care for about the vehicles, again, no experience in them, but the one time I got to, no, actually twice, I got to engage a tank, and 2 sticks of dynamite did not blow up the tank.
Right.
I thought, hey, you're gonna need multiple engineers to blow up a tank.
The mines were effective, but yeah, the dynamite should have
made it
at least immobile. Yeah.
But it didn't do that. I'm like, what the heck? I just put 2 sticks on it, blew it up, and now this thing just turns on me and wipes me out.
Yeah, it seemed. I don't know. I don't know if you're supposed to only have 2 sticks of dynamite, or if it was a bug or something, or because usually you get, I think, 3 or 4 C4 or dynamite or whatever in the past, and in this one it seemed like as assault you only got 2, which didn't do the job obviously. So I don't know if that's the amount you're supposed to have or it was a bug. It seems like it. Because I mean, if you got the stones to run up and throw things on a tank and run away, you should get the kill. I feel like you should be rewarded with a kill.
You should definitely be rewarded because that takes stones.
Yeah.
But apparently they either saw otherwise, or maybe that was a complaint from all the other ones. I don't know. But at Battlefield 1, you stuck that limpet charge right to it and got the heck out of there, and it'd blow up. You wouldn't necessarily destroy the tank, but you might immobilize a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know if that's what they call them in a tank, but one of the turret things, you at least immobilize it. On this, you throw your 2 mines down, and that's it. There's nothing. You hope you hit it. You hope they run over it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're using your dynamite, you don't even recall seeing anything got destroyed on it. So,
if I recall correctly, at least where I threw it, I don't know if it matters where you threw it, but I think it did 44. 2 sticks of dynamite.
so you're looking at 88.
Yeah.
Still had 12%, but it didn't seem to slow it down at all.
No, it just seemed to make it very angry.
Yeah. that's for sure.
I will say I wouldn't be surprised if that's intended with a new emphasis on squad play, because that would mean it requires more than one person to kill a tank, which I can sort of see the logic in that, but I still, maybe I just like killing tanks with dynamite too much, but it made me sad to run up and throw a bunch of things on a tank and run away and then get killed by the tank.
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
You definitely didn't feel like you got anything out of it.
Yeah, it feels much more beneficial than to just take care of the tank at range or throw down a bunch of mines and just run away from it instead of be the aggressor. Which, as you guys know, is how I play.
And I didn't feel like the hit detection was too off on stuff.
No, it was very good, I thought. Very solid.
Yeah, I thought that worked well.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, once I got the hang of the mechanics of having to use big resupply points and all that, or ammo crates and big health boxes, at each objective, then things picked up for me.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't a huge learning curve, but it was a learning curve. But that's what I really liked about it. I thought it handled well.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like you can't be wasteful on things like your ammo,
right?
Your health. It all matters.
Yeah, it's a very big positive in my opinion.
Yeah. You don't have an infinite supply. You have to rely on others to get you through it, which is back to that squad mentality. You need to have a good squad to get you through this.
Yeah.
Which, is more realistic and whatnot. It seems that each game they try to push that, but it seems that by doing this, they've actually may have succeeded in that, where you have to go squad, or at least you can't do the lone wolf thing by yourself unless you're running to each supply crate,
Right.
or health crate. Just and that's not a positive for that individual, because obviously that's going to hinder them more than help them. So. So I really like how they did that.
Yeah. I feel like it's a really cool balance of you feel somewhat more in charge of your own destiny, because even as not a medic, you could heal yourself a little bit. And you can take care of your own ammo a little bit with the stuff around, but then you also feel a little bit less in charge of your own destiny in a good way, because you have to rely on your teammates. So I don't know, they've really struck a really interesting and good balance, I think. It feels very satisfying to take care of your own ammo and health sometimes. But then you feel very useful if you're a medic and you throw down that health thing and they can just, grab their health if they need so, or support, throw down ammo. I don't know. It's a really good feeling. It's very satisfying.
I think that this is a big step up from Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
And, I think it's going to work out well. I'm afraid that they may have hurt themselves by how do I want to say this? I think the experience of Battlefield 1 is not going to allow a lot of people to give Battlefield 5 a chance. So I hope those people come back to the community.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there was a lot of bad people saying, "Oh, they aren't going to buy this game. They're going to do, just in the comment sections and stuff." But if they give it a chance, I think they'd like it.
Yeah, I think
different direction, but I think it's a good direction.
Yeah, I think Battlefield 1 was interesting in where it sort of, I don't want to say alienated, but the Battlefield 4 people, especially with that, like they came in and they were sort of hardcore into it, and they liked the really in-depth mechanics and the, I don't know, it was more fiddly, Battlefield 4, in a good way. Battlefield 1, you come in and it's very casual, and it appealed, I think, to a very different player base. So I feel like Battlefield 1 was probably their biggest commercial success, because they brought in people who had never played Battlefield before, but then they sort of alienated some of the people who had played Battlefield for a long time. So I think the Battlefield 5 community is going to be interesting, because they're going to give the Battlefield 1 players who are new in that are going to give some weird feedback, I think, because you have to be really, I don't know, you have to pay attention very much in Battlefield 5. But I think people who are coming back and didn't really enjoy 1 will really, really enjoy 5, because it's more along the old school lines.
I agree with that, yeah.
If they give it a chance, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
People in general are so fickle anymore over silly stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've moved on from the type of game because of that, or I know the Battlefield 4 community is still there. It's still packed. It's there's not as many hardcore servers, but there's a lot of there's tons of people playing Battlefield 4 still, and you can see that in the comments. Like, oh, we'll save for Battlefield 4 for another year. But I hope that they give this a chance. I'm glad that they pushed through. I didn't like the thought of competing with Call of Duty or that Red Dead Redemption.
Right.
I think it was wise that they pushed it back, but
even those
it's not a good look.
Yeah.
Push it back.
But it'll, after the beta, obviously we're glad that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But even, Call of Duty's its own thing. Battlefield, they're two totally different styles, I think.
Yeah.
And it's hard, at least for me, it's hard to go from Battlefield to Call of Duty, and probably vice versa. It's probably hard.
They're very
to go
different
from one to
games.
the other. Yeah.
I think. Go ahead.
No, I get why they did it. I didn't want to. I think that it's probably more or less. If I were in their head right now, I think that they knew that they had some problems that were coming down, and they needed time to. I would rather them have a more complete game than when the previous Battlefield's released, and you're like, oh my god, this is so buggy that it needs to be taken care of. And Josh is over here snickering because he remembers the days.
I think the launch, like the first week, the just how well the game works determines like the first year cycle of the game. If a game launches poorly, it doesn't matter how good the game is, people are going to have that impression of your game for a year. And you can get those people back after a certain amount of time if you fix it and you show you're really dedicated to making a good game. Like look at Siege. Siege launched and it was pretty bad, but they've shown they're dedicated. They're going to keep working on it, and now Siege is one of the biggest games in the market. I think that's what they really. I think that's what they saw with Battlefield 5. Is they didn't want it to launch, especially around all these other games that are going to sell. They didn't want it to launch buggy and have that be people's first impression of the game, because then some people are going to turn around and they're not going to give it a chance for a long time, if ever. So yeah, pushing it back, I think it'll help them be a much bigger success.
I think people might give this bigger chance, or give it more of a chance now that there's no premium.
Yes.
So that is a big plus for this game, because Battlefield 1, I did not get the premium. I played the beta. I'm like, this is pretty good. I'll see how it goes. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people got the beta premium. And I was like, at first it was so buggy that I was like, no, I'm not buying that pack, something like that. But then they started patching it, and it got so nice that I'll buy to us pretty much back. Mm-hmm. And it was good. And now they've smartened up, and they've decided that, as I mentioned before, they decided that they're gonna give it to us all free.
Right.
And I think that's a smart decision.
Yeah. It is nothing but split your community.
Yeah, and then that goes back to EA with the Battlefront issues and whatnot. I mean, I think they had to try to make amends, if you will, for sounding completely ridiculous.
I think the Battlefront issues were a little bit exacerbated. I feel like people took it a little bit out of control just because it's EA and everybody knows EA.
Yeah.
But it definitely was. I don't know. It was not the best system they could have had as far as loot boxes.
EA's an easy target, but they bring it on themselves.
Yep. They got to show they're different, And it seems like they are trying with stuff like Battlefield 5 and stuff. It seems like they're trying to turn that image around, which is admirable. Because most companies, Activision, don't do that.
I don't even know what all Activision does.
Destiny and Call of Duty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they just do their own thing. So. Yeah. But overall, just I thought it was great. I thought it was a good beta. Obviously, you knew it was gonna have some downs, but positives far outweighed those negatives.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I definitely pre-ordered it, so I know I'm gonna be playing it.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's gonna draw me away from Battlefield 4. Just because once in a while I like to fall back to the modern stuff. Mm-hmm. But modern, not as in the game itself, the setting of the game.
Yeah.
Although the graphics have held up pretty decent. I just feel like this one I'll enjoy much more than 1.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with 1, I've got certain nights where I enjoy it, especially when I'm using the Lawrence of Arabia. That gun's super fun. But overall, when we play 1, I can enjoy it somewhat, but I don't know. I can't really enjoy it super much. There's something about it I can't get into. The explosive spam really gets to me.
I like 1 when I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And I don't like 1 when I'm doing poorly.
I will agree.
Is a majority of the time.
I'm glad this game doesn't have that explosive spam.
Yeah.
And to what Cole just said, I could see Battlefield 5 being, if I'm doing well, I'm going to like it. But obviously in beta, I had nights where I was having fun and doing well. And then I had that one night where I really thought, I'm done gaming altogether. I thought this beta may have just ruined it for my whole rest of my life. But I stuck with it, and the next night all 3 of us were on, and it was actually a lot of fun in it.
Yeah.
So
I feel like the downs of Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, like Battlefield 1, when a match is going poorly, it feels brutally unfair. Like something about it just feels like there's nothing you can do. Like you can do nothing but just
Yeah.
be in a death loop. And Battlefield
Yep.
5, even when it's going poorly, it always feels like there's something you can do. Like 4, it feels like there's something you can do to change your fate, you know? Whether it's just sort of go around, it's probably due to the maps and how like they're a little more creative, but it feels like there's just something you can do to get around the other team and
More-
turn the match around a little bit.
More cover, I think. I mean, one, there
Yeah.
was just so many open areas
Ugh.
where, you there was nothing you really could do.
No.
You couldn't, oh, I got to run to this objective.
Mm.
Oh God, it's like literally no man's land. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense because
Yeah.
historically speaking, yes. I mean,
But it's not fun. It's like you want to get to an objective. There's a 200-yard field, and there's a
Yeah.
firing squad of 20 snipers at the objective. There's nothing you can do. You're just done. You're dead. Over and over.
yep.
On these maps here, I didn't notice snipers too much.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely can see them on the outskirts of that city map.
Mm-hmm.
Not the snow map, but the other one by the water. You can see them on the outskirts a little bit, but you didn't have to be in their target. You didn't have to be in their line of vision.
Yeah.
You can move throughout the city. Now the snow one, when they got up super high near Alpha, between Alpha and Charlie, they were way up there.
Mm-hmm.
And once the buildings started falling down or getting taken down, then they got a little annoying once in a while, but
But you
Have
can
to
always
make
get to them, you know?
yeah. You just had to make it a point to go knife those guys or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, knife them.
Yeah. Stick 'em.
In one, there is just sometimes they're in a place where there's nothing you can do. Like they're
No.
5 miles away up on a mountain with their back to the red zone, and you can't get to them. But here
No.
it seems like there's always an option. If you want to kill a sniper, go kill a sniper. It's gonna take you a while, but you can do it.
Yeah, it's doable.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to be epic when there's one you can't get to and you just drop a V2 on them. Or V1. Just do something. Just
That'll be awesome.
bam.
That's pretty much my thoughts for Battlefield 5. I'll
Mhm.
have a lot more once the game launches, but
Right.
I think it'll be real fun.
Mhm.
It's going to be good.
It feels like almost, it feels like a very, like I told you, Josh, when I played it and you hadn't yet, and I said it
Yeah.
almost doesn't even feel like a Battlefield game, but I mean that in a good way. Like you didn't know how to take that at first, but it
yeah.
kind of does. It's very different. But it retains the core things that are important.
Yeah. Getting the hang of that skill tree was, or not skill tree, but weapon tree. That's where once I got the hang of that, then it felt like Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
But until that point, I felt so lost. Like, how do I upgrade my gun? How do I do this? How do I do that?
Yeah.
But once I got the hang of it, then it felt like. We'll see. Hopefully they do well. I can't wait to see what announcements they make regarding the betas
Mhm.
and what they're going to change. I imagine they'll be saying that within a week or so.
Yeah. I do wish there was a Battle Royale beta. I can understand that they don't, because it just might not be ready yet, but that would be cool. I
Yeah.
want to try that out.
So we'll see.
Yep.
See how it goes.
Alright, so that'll probably do us for the podcast today. If you guys ever have any questions, or if you like talking to any of us, you can email us at bucklethispodcast@gmail.com. Or you can tweet any of us. The Twitters will be in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching. Do hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.